I just saw this latest headline with supposed Chris Berman, his wife of 33 years, supposedly passing away from an automobile accident. I'm also going to touch upon Jim Ross, of course known as JR in WWE Wrestling. Famous, of course, announcer going back to Mid-South Wrestling, WCW Wrestling as well. And his supposed passing of his wife on March 22nd. I'll get into this. Where I've been keeping my eye on this so-called passing of his wife, and a lot of things just do not add up whatsoever. But first off, let's take a look at the details again with Chris Berman. Again, after 33 years, and this is to me nothing more than a fabrication, nothing more than a ritualistic hoax based on the number 33. Get a little bit of a close-up here. And of course, red flags all the way with that number 33. If you follow my channel, you'll know what this means. That it's a fabrication. The Masons are behind this hoax 100%. Of course, Chris Berman, the most well-known out of all announcers when it comes to ESPN. He's been with ESPN from the very inception. You see the occultic Timex logo as well. And Chris Berman, why was he propped up? It's not just based on talent alone. It just so happens Chris Berman being a 33 name. So you get the dual 33s with the supposed news story of the wife passing away after 33 years, and Chris Berman once again with his name being your 33, the dual 33s when it comes to Freemasonry, the highest degree in the Scottish Rite, and also, as I mentioned many times, this is a biblical reference to the third or 33% of the fallen angel bloodline as mentioned in Revelation 12, verses 3 through 9. Now to carry on, I'm going to get into this really deeply before I touch upon Jim Ross. So people that are new to my channel, they can connect all the pieces together when it comes to the Matrix. First off, what needs to be understood in this world is how these people operate. It's not by language, through words. It's through signs and symbols. Basically, signs, symbols, dates, numbers, and colors. Goes back to basically the very beginning from this Freemasonic encyclopedia. Out of evil comes good. However, the confusion of tongues gave rise to the ancient practice of Masons conversing without the use of speech. And this is what it's about. Now, what I find very interesting here is going back from last year with Elon Musk during this interview with, you see the Vox Media in the back. He talks about the odds that we're living in a simulation. He said, basically, it's 1 in a billion chance that we're not. So without a shadow of a doubt in his mind, we live in a simulated reality. Now again, getting back to the Vox Media logo. Okay, this is coded, as always, with that number 33, of course. It's just their language, the occultist way of hiding their number with words. This is how they do it. Words translated from numbers is the basic concept of how they operate. It's that simple. And again, they want to hide God. This is one of the ways to hide God. They're telling us, for example, the theory of evolution, that we live in a simulation, or, of course, that we came from some alien life forms, that aliens have created us. Any theory besides God. This is their concept. And again, the number 33 with Elon Musk and the Falcon 9. The reason this name with the number 9 is devised, because Falcon by itself is not going to be your 33. You add your 9 to the Falcon and you get your 33. And this is based off Pythagorean numerology. As you see the chart itself, I'll use a calculator just to make it easier. Again, this chart is based off Pythagoras himself. He didn't create it, but it's named after him in his famous quote, all is number. They do things by the numbers. And also the other chart they use is Chaldean numerology, based off the Chaldeans that lived in ancient Babylon, going back in time. As you see this book, Chaldean Magic. Okay, so this is the hidden world that those that own and control this world work by, the number system once again. And getting back to Chris Berman, as you see here once again, and that number 33. Now let's take a look here, going back in time with this handshake with Chris Berman and Dan Patrick. This is Dan Patrick, who of course used to work for CNN and Ted Turner. And again, you see the Masonic handshake. This is his very first appearance on ESPN. Okay, take a look here at the name Patrick. So they don't only work by full names, they work by surnames, first names, or a combination of both. with Patrick being a 33 name, as you can see. Also, just for reference, the Masonic Handshake Guide when it comes to Freemasonry. Now, one thing I found interesting about Chris Berman, I saw this going back to the year 2000, where basically he's ranting, getting all upset with the supposedly leaked video. More than likely, of course, not leaked. This was meant to be released for public consumption. And before I even play the video, it's a little bit much. He starts to rant, starts to curse. He basically blasphemes through the whole entire so-called rant. One thing I want to show before showing the video itself is about blaspheming from the Bible, what it states about blaspheming. From Matthew 12:31. Wherefore I say unto you, all manner of sin and blasphemy shall be forgiven unto men, but the blasphemy against the Holy Ghost, God, shall not be forgiven unto men. Okay, let's take a listen again to what is said here. Just a little warning, he's gonna start cursing. And to me it seems very forced.
When I'm doing TV and I got 18, god damn it, can't everybody stop for 10 minutes? I mean, everybody seems that's the only, everybody can we stick, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not that much to ask. Is that when everybody has to move when I'm trying to concentrate? Jesus.
And you guys thought I was a pain.
I mean, it's so rude. I can't believe it. It's so goddamn rude. Just, why does everyone all of a sudden have to move? I've had 2 fucking hours to move around. Wait 10 minutes. Jesus. I'm sorry to explode my guy, but it's like no one's ever worked on TV here before. Jesus. Sunken under the kill. What the fuck do they think I'm doing?
To me, this is more or less a comedy skit. Just doesn't pass the smell test. Doesn't seem legit to me as a real rant.
I actually can't believe what I just saw.
Not now.
It's like no one here has worked on TV before. I hear a dial tone. And there were 7 people. I mean, Jesus. We need to use the studio for 15 fucking minutes. Just everybody, you know.
That's it. And I'm not buying it once again. Just, again, seems forced. Doesn't seem legit to me. And taking a look at this one screenshot once again with Chris Berman and Dan Patrick. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, Patrick being that 33 name. And the Masonic Handshake. Now, there's another Patrick that they have forced down the throats of the general public for a long time. And that's Danica Patrick because of that 33 name. And also, she used to have this to sponsor GoDaddy. First off, let's take a closer look at this hand here. You see the Masonic M, and I'll get into that. But first off, again, GoDaddy, her former sponsor, being a 33 name. Take a look here again at the hand sign, the Masonic M, going out through history. People might think this is ridiculous, but this is how they operate through these. It's almost like baseball with the hand signs and symbols, just like you see here with 2 other puppets, the Williams brothers doing the Masonic M hand sign and the concept of got milk. This is how far they go with got milk and this slogan being a 33, of course. Now, more connections when it comes to ESPN. Let's take a look here at Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless about to shake hands during this debate. They're always going at it. And as they're yapping away, take a look at this handshake. And of course, you have your Masonic handshake. They act like they're going against each other all the time. They act like they hate each other. But look at that face, okay? And again, the Masonic handshake. As you see here, all the different versions of these different handshakes with different meanings. Now, one thing I want to point out too as well. Why do they have this Masonic handshake during this telecast? Look at the date. You get your March 22nd or your 322, which I'll get into a little bit later on in the video. But first off, I want to get back into the whole matrix, this 33 matrix with many players in the game. People that get propped up due to their names. such as Bill Gates, who supposedly retired after 33 years. Basically, just like getting back to Chris Berman and the whole situation with his wife supposedly passing away after 33 years of marriage. You have Bill Gates with the name being 33 as well. The logo for Microsoft. This is a play on names as well with Microsoft. How they love the duality with these names. And you see the hidden 33 in the logo itself. Okay, everything is hidden in plain sight. So you see with this one news story, Bill Gates describing his biggest fear, and it could kill 33 million people. This is what it's about. News is fear-based, basically fear porn based on that number 33. Forget the text. Just look for the numbers. That's where you're going to see the real information. This is how you control the masses. Fear equals control. Even this news story with him supposedly purchasing a yacht for $330 million. Numerology, the zeros mean nothing. You get your 33 once again. Just like the supposed retirement, again, of Bill Gates. Basically nothing more than ritualistic. Just like you see here with David Letterman retiring after 33 years. Okay, and Letterman being a 33 name. His surname being a 33 name. Now, going back in time, more puppets. All these people are nothing more than puppets when it comes down to it. People behind the scenes pulling the strings with Lucille Ball. What do you see here doing here? The Masonic sign of silence. With secrecy. You see Barbara Bush. You see Darwin. Darwin's also a 33 name. Clinton, a 33 name. You have Ozzy Osbourne, which is 66 in numerology. All these puppets. Obama, of course, as well. But getting back to Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball just so happens to be a 33 name as well. There's nothing new under the sun. More present time. Charlemagne, thy God. This is more blasphemy. Of course, the name was given to him. It's based off, of course, Charlemagne, the founder of the Roman Empire. These are occultists, again, pulling the strings from behind the scenes that devise these concepts for these puppets. Nothing new. Some of these people have fictitious names. Some of them have real names based on 33. Here you have Brian Welsh of Korn with the 33 name. And you see all the occultic signs and symbols. First off, with this hand sign, which is the diamond sign. Just like I showed earlier with the Freemason Order at Chaos logo with the, again, pyramid, upside down pyramid, or the diamond and the 33 over the top. Again, this is what you're basically looking at when he's doing this sign. He's doing the 33 for the diamond sign. This is what it's all about. And of course, the duality aspect of this book. Eyes wide open as he has a single eye closed. So again, this is a form of duality as well, of course. Another puppet in the game here. You have Kanye West being a 33 name, and you see his brooch. And you see, of course, it's the same concept of the Order out of Chaos. And you see, it's kind of hard to see, but you see the double C's intertwined here, like a Chanel logo being, of course, A, B, C is 1, 2, 3. C is 3 for your dual 33s hidden in plain sight. This is why you see, again, people like Kanye West propped up based on his name. Not just based on the occult of 33, but you have to have talent, what they see as talent as well. You have talent, so-called talent, and you have a 33 name, you're going to be propped up. And Donald Trump himself, his surname, going back in time, being Drumpf, and Drumpf being a 33 name as well. And more concepts of people changing their names, having their names changed by those behind the scenes based on the number 33, with Vin Diesel being born Mark Sinclair. Again, they didn't devise his name out of the blue, out of thin air, with Vin Diesel being a 33 name. Ted Knight, famous actor, going back in time with his Polish surname, Konopka. And of course, you're going to have your 33 with the name Ted Knight itself. It's pretty obvious. This is not just, random what they're doing here. Same thing with famous comedian and actor Kevin James, being born Kevin Nipfing. And here you go with your 33, of course. Now, I haven't done this before. Just for reference, I want to show this so people can grasp. People say, oh, everything you put in this calculator comes up to 33. This calculator you have is rigged. No, it's not. Okay, the game is rigged. The system is rigged. This calculator is not. Okay, when you have his real surname, his real full name, I should say, and surname combined, you get a 52. Again, this is how they devise Kevin James being a 33 name. Now, hidden 33s also in these productions, such as Pioneer with this sellout, Lawrence Krauss, the so-called scientist, nothing but basically a hired help, nothing but a deceiver. Pioneer being a 33 name itself. TV shows and movies with Ascension, the idea of going into outer space. Ascension being a 33. Now, fabricated news stories with supposedly Kim Kardashian losing a pendant, a necklace that was supposedly $33,000. She had what they say was $1 million worth of jewels and jewelry that she brought to Paris, France, and she dropped this one piece that was supposedly worth $33,000. This is nothing but a fabrication based, of course, on the number 33. Like I mentioned before, the zeros mean nothing when it comes to numerology. They don't count for anything. And again, the concept of the 33 is nothing new when it comes to these fabrications. Just like the so-called moon landing with the so-called record of the astronauts being on the moon for 33 hours. By the way, astronaut numerology is 33 as well. Now, this is more of a recent news story. Just nothing more than fear porn with the supposed meteor, or asteroid I should say, traveling at 33 meters a second. Okay, this is completely ridiculous. Just to scare the public. The millions upon millions of zombies will see a news story like this, and they won't question it. They'll just believe it and say, well, why would they lie to us? Well, that's to keep you under fear. Like I said, fear equals control. This is the purpose. It's propaganda. Okay, more 33s with our rigged reality, with this anti-Trump movement is calling for the boycott of 33 retailers. Like I said, Trump and Drumpf being a 33 name. Take a look here as well. With Trump unveiling a Supreme Court pick draws 33 million views. Okay, completely ridiculous. Just like you have here with Hillary Clinton and her supposed 33,000 emails that were deleted with the Benghazi hoax. That's all it was, nothing more than a hoax, nothing more than a fabrication. And like I mentioned earlier, with Clinton being a 33 name, the reason Bill Clinton changed his name from Bill Blythe to Bill Clinton is to get that 33. Another fabrication I covered before with the so-called LAX shooting, where the TSA officer bled to death, supposedly bled to death at 33 minutes. Like someone had a stopwatch and stood over the TSA officer as he bled to death for 33 minutes. Complete joke. Give me a break. Now, with the world being nothing more than a stage, all these so-called leaders are working as one against us, against the population, keeping us all divided, keeping us all fighting, keeping us all in the constant state of fear. With this news story, Kim Jong-un splurges 305,000 pounds on imported alcohol, including 330,000 pounds on U.S. spirits. So, you get your coded for 33 with the zeros mean nothing. Just, again, look at the numbers, forget the text. The texts are nothing more than lies. Another fabricated news story in the UK with this dying girl with a rare brain tumor receives 33,000 get well soon cards. And a guy, look what he's pulling her, these orange crates, these orange boxes. Completely ridiculous. Look, he has a smile on his face too. Okay, and orange, of course, the only color in numerology being 33. So you get your double 33s once again, just like the Grand Sovereign Commander, like I showed many times, as you see here. And for all you that think these numbers are just a coincidence, all these 33s, take a look at Tom Cruise. These, of course, these 3 pre-arranged marriages. It says here, this one title from New York Daily News. Tom Cruise, 33 problem with this so-called divorces. All happening when these women, these so-called women, reach the age of 33. Obviously, again, nothing more than arranged marriages, basically nothing more than ritualistic divorces. Okay? Now, again, Tom Cruise, starring in this one movie, you can see him wearing the 33 jersey. Not by chance, not by coincidence. Fast Times, Forrest Whitaker with Sean Penn here, as you see, wearing the 33. You see Robert De Niro and Wesley Snipes in the movie called The Fan. Wesley Snipes being number 33. As you can see here as well. Al Bundy. Even Al Bundy gets the number 33 with his Polk High School. When it comes to football. And you see the Bears jersey as well. Chicago Bears. And now, when it comes to more fabricated news stories, the whole entire Ebola hoax. I'm not saying there's not a Ebola virus, but this was definitely a fabricated news story with all 4 supposed American victims being 33 years old each. This is a complete joke. Again, this is basically telling you they're behind it. That's what it all comes down to. Now, let's take a listen to this one clip from The Simpsons I found very interesting. The concept of lies in the news, truth in movies, cartoons, comedy, the world of opposites. They're going to give you the truth in unlikely places where people are not going to take it seriously. But this is the best way to sneak in truth as a form of mockery. Take a listen to what is said here.
Call to order this secret conclave of America's media empires. We are here to come up with the next phony baloney crisis to put Americans back where they belong, in dark rooms, glued to their televisions, too terrified to skip the commercials. I think we should go with a good old-fashioned public health scare.
Yeah. A new disease. No one's immune. It's like the summer of the shark.
That's how they do it. And of course, Simpson being a 33 name when it comes to numerology as well, with Bart Simpson, Homer Simpson. Again, this whole fabricated scenario with the so-called Ebola virus. Just, again, it's all about fear equaling control. Now, I found this very interesting when it comes to our rigged system. Take a listen to this Holiday Inn commercial and how it all connects with the Matrix. Take a listen.
This is a very rare strain of the Ebola virus. It produces mRNA, the deadliest of the stem loop structures. Oh, don't worry, it's not an airborne strain.
Excuse me, how long have you been studying the Ebola virus?
Well, I'm not actually a scientist, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Stay smart. Stay at a Holiday Inn Express.
Now, this commercial basically spotlighting Ebola. Why would they do that? This is basically predictive programming by Holiday Inn. Of course, Masonically owned and controlled. This is how they do it. Holiday Inn being 33, just like the victims, so-called victims, nothing but a hoax. And Holiday Inn, as I just showed, is 33 in numerology. Take a look at Howard Johnson. Of course, you're going to get your dual 33s with Howard being a 33 name. Same thing with Johnson. Now, one thing I found very interesting about the logo itself, taking a closer look, and you see, of course, besides the 33, the dual 33s, you see the firmament or the dome and the pyramid underneath the dome. Very interesting concepts, how they devise all of this. Again, take a look here. Also, not just when it comes to this hotel, I want to show this as well. The very famous company, Johnson & Johnson, being dual 33s. So see here as well, Johnson, a family company. Like I said, your dual 33s with Johnson & Johnson. Now, getting back to hotels, these concepts based on the whole idea of, again, turning numbers into names. Super 8. You have 3 Super 8s. You can basically get your 3 33s. Go for 6, 6, and 6, with 3 and 3 being 6 with Super 8. Not Super 7, not Super 9, not Super 3, Super 8 to get your 33. Just like you have here as well with Hilton. Okay, a little bit of a close-up here as well when it comes to this one Hilton hotel. Also, you have your dual H's for your 88 numerology. Your H is an 8. And of course, as I mentioned many times, Fox in numerology being 666. Like Triple X, the movie Triple X, porn Triple X, root beer being your cult of 666. This is their system that they use. Even USA, the U being a 3. The S being a 1, the A being a 1, you get your 311, 3 times 11 being your 33. Getting back to the Hilton Hotel itself, you see the granddaughter, Paris Hilton, you see the duality, the as above, so below with the reflection. This is, of course, the reason she was propped up due to being in the bloodline. Also, I found this interesting as well with Doubletree Hotel by Hilton in Doubletree being a duality name, not 33, but you get your duality with 44. You get your 44 and your 33 side by side. And the duality with Doubletree reminds me of Back to the Future, which I'll get into right now. With this scene at the Twin Pines Mall, of course, the duality with the Twin Pines. You have your JCPenney, the only anchor store that's showing up, highlighted. That's because JCPenney being a 33 name, with James Cash Penney being a Mason, JCPenney. The reason it's abbreviated to JCPenney to get the 33. And also you have Dr. E. Brown Enterprises, Dr. E. Brown being your 33 name. And also the reason Marty McFly, your MM for 33, with the orange vest for 33 as well. The reason he arrived at 116, you flip over the 116 AM and you get your Colt up 911. How they love to code everything in plain sight. The masses, they'll never get it. Again, just a little bit of a close-up of Dr. E. Brown in his truck. And of course, the whole concept of Arab terrorists showing up at the scene. Another basically 9/11 predictive programming. The connection with Back to the Future. Now, not only JCPenney, take a look at Walgreens, and you're going to get your 33, of course. Also, you have the so-called mortar and pestle, more or less a witch's cauldron in plain sight as well in these windows. Take a look here as well when it comes to Back to the Future. As I shown before with this scene from Back to the Future 2 specifically, where you see basically the Twin Towers being shown on this TV that was so-called broken, and you see the Twin Towers going up from the perspective of Old Man McFly upside down. They're coming down straight. Take a look here as well. When before the Twin Tower show, you have the Twin Pines. So you have the duality with the Twin Pines. And also, let's take a look at the scene itself here. As Marty McFly, before he heads to the room itself, you see the transgender angle being pushed, dressed as a female. They love to have the so-called actors, nothing more than sellouts, dress up in drag. These sick occultists, the world of opposites and duality, changing males to female and female to male. And again, Old Man McFly upside down as they work their way into the room. And again, the Twin Towers, the TV being broken, they're going upwards. When you flip it over, you see them going down, straight down in this scene from his perspective. How complex they are and how they operate. Very, very interesting, very fascinating. Also, I want to mention as well, the whole scenery, you can clearly see, get to that right point, you can clearly see this is basically the Statue of Liberty's torch. So, you have the Twin Towers, you have the concept of the New York Harbor as well. One thing I want to mention as well when it comes to predictive programming, once again, with The Simpsons, from back in 1997, again, you have your 9 and your 11 holding the money. And again, Homer Simpson being 33 numerology, wearing the orange shirt. Once again, your orange for 33. Take a look here as well. Very interesting connection with 9/11, with the towers coming down after 33 years. Construction started in 1968. The towers came down, of course, in 2001, being 33 years. And, of course, Mohammed Atta, the supposed pilot, there was no pilot. There was no terrorist attack. It's nothing more than a controlled demolition. What you saw on TV was nothing more than smoke and mirrors, a production. And Mohammed Atta just so happened to be 33 years old as well. Okay, let's take a look here. There's one commercial. There's one mattress commercial showing the sheep as a form of mockery. And you have your 9 and your 11 on the sheep themselves. It's very easy to see once you connect all these pieces how they control the Matrix. TV is nothing more than the Matrix itself by those that own and control all of TV. Just like when you see here with, again, Simpson being 33. He arrives, the whole family arrives at that 33-cent store. But before they get to the 33-cent store, they pass by the 66-cent store. I showed earlier, the duality, the dual 33s. One thing I find interesting about the dual 33s, got to be 66, 33 in numerology. So just so happens to be 66 as well. I think I'm talking about how they translate signs and symbols, basically coded. When you see on top of this Grand Sovereign Commander's hat, the symbol for Baphomet here. You see Aleister Crowley. All these signs that translate, again, the Baphomet sign, symbol for Baphomet himself. And you see the androgynous goat god, the as above, so below, the male arms, the female chest, and of course you see the goat's head. All basically mockery of God's creation. He made all entities separate. They combine them all, again, as a form of mockery. Even the wings of a bird or an angel, an angelic being. There's good and bad angels. That needs to be understood as well. Fallen angels and good angels. This is, of course, not a good angel. Now, again, the whole concept of The Simpsons, the creator Matt Groening, he's a Mason, of course, in the know before 9/11 happened back in 1997. I'm sure he knew going back even further. Of course, like I said, you know, the connections with the 33s, the dual 33s with the towers coming down for 33 years, and the pilot Atta being 33 years old. Take a look here. These people are not Satanists. If you don't believe they're Satanists, you're in complete denial. Take a look at Homer burning a Bible. How clear can it be? It's one episode. You see Mr. Burns, also a play on names, besides Mr. Burns being a 33 name. Not by chance, not by coincidence. You have the 322 in the door. You must be this rich to enter. Okay, Monopoly, the Monopoly man. You're talking about Skull and Bones, 322. Understand, 322, 3 times 22. And you get your 66 once again when it comes to Freemasonry. And also, take a look here. Another puppet in the game, Glenn Beck. Okay, Glenn Beck just so happens to have 2 ends. It's not a mistake with the 2 ends to get your 33 once again. Of course, as you see, the Skull and Bones, which I'll get into in a second. But first off, I said I would talk about Jim Ross, the WWE employee now rehired. Just signed a 2-year extension, 2-year contract after basically being off of WWE programming since 2013 with his supposed wife passing away on 322. Okay, understand wrestling, of course, being a work basically scripted from the very inception of pro wrestling. Even though they admit it's nothing but a work, nothing but scripted, they still think they can fool the masses. Now, I kept my eye on this story for a while. You know, it's been a little while since this supposedly all went down, but I looked into it and things do not add up. Okay, first off, again, I want to talk about the supposed date being 322 and WWE being owned and controlled by Vince McMahon. The reason there's no E in the WWE logo is when you turn that logo sideways, as I show many times, you get your 33. Actually, there's a third 3 as well. You get your cult of 3, 3, and 3 with this pro wrestler Seth Rollins. Now, I show this clip many times, but just for reference, this one interview by Tim Russert with George Bush and John Kerry being questioned about the secret society, Skull and Bones. Of course, all to do with Freemasonry. Take a listen to what it said here.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
Sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest
Number
of it.
322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look for...
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, a secret number? There are all kinds of secrets.
So what you have here, of course, are 2 Skull and Bones members, John Kerry and George Bush, facing off against each other in the 2004 elections. People can't see that we live in a rigged system. They're never going to see with this presentation. Of course, you see here as well with Bush Sr. with his Skull and Bones gathering. As I mentioned earlier, 3 times 22 being your code for 66. Now, getting back to Jim Ross. Listen to this podcast. This was aired a week after the supposed death of his wife, but this was pre-recorded, so it wasn't, done live. So it was done basically days after the supposed death. Now, some people might think I'm being a little bit harsh by claiming this is a hoax, a fabrication, but take a listen to this exchange with Ric Flair. Very, very bizarre. One thing I want to mention as well, of course, like I said, Jim Ross just basically reunited with WWE. Was in contract talks to perform at WrestleMania 33 to make his reappearance after several year hiatus. Now, I found this exchange very, very interesting. Again, take a listen to this exchange with Ric Flair and Jim Ross. Just really bizarre for a man that just supposedly lost his wife.
And, we're going to be joined here. I think we've got him here on the phone, my old friend, Ric Flair. Rick, what's going on?
Jim, hi, buddy.
Hanging there, Val. How are you doing?
Good. First of all, how you doing? Okay.
I'm battling and taking it hour at a time.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm just so shocked. I mean, God damn it. I won't play you down. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. Love you.
I love you too, buddy. I appreciate a lot of. There's been an amazing outpouring of support.
I know. God, my agent Melinda tells me it's like unbelievable response. So that's who she was, man. Who you are.
She. If you met her, you could not have not liked her. How many times in your life you think you've told the story of you and I on sitting in first class on the plane, and she was the first class flight attendant.
Now take a listen to this exchange. This is very, very bizarre. Again, supposedly, less than a week of the passing of his wife.
Oh, I told her 100 times.
He's laughing. He's laughing about a story about how he first met his wife.
The last week. Jesus Christ. Are you kidding me? 6 a.m. in the morning, drunk all night, drinking Bloody Marys, Charleston, West Virginia. I've told her 100 times.
Now, one thing I found very interesting, what Jim Ross says here. Read between the lines what he says.
Jesus, that joke she told, I wish I could tell about. That joke about the Michigan sweatshirt upside down, whatever it was like the best.
She was just terrific in everything. So I'm not being. I'm really faking this deal.
Now let me back up just a little bit. Listen to it one more time.
Hey, I'm not being. I'm really faking this deal. I'm miserable right now.
And just listen to that. Listen to him stutter as he speaks. I believe he's just working the audience, his followers, just like all these pro wrestlers over the decades. Basically, working the fans. Passing fake off as real. And I'm not buying it. What's taking place. Of course, being employed by Vince McMahon once again after being in hiatus from the WWE for a while. And I believe this was some type of psyop with the supposed passing of his wife, who supposedly was hit by when she was on her Vespa by a vehicle. And take a look at these photos with the New World Order. And you see Jim Ross Jr. with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. A little bit of a close-up. They're all doing the devil horns. Okay, take a look here as well when it comes to the NWO. Of course, it's not their creation. It was created by Ted Turner. Again, those behind the scenes pulling the strings. They're going to tell you that the New World Order wrestling angle was presented by Eric Bischoff, the then president of WCW. That's nothing more than like I said, it was created by Ted Turner. People behind the scenes, behind it all. Take a look here as well with Jim Ross, with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the blasphemy. Instead of John 3:16, he puts Austin 3:16 on his shirt. Very bizarre world, and very little is what it seems. Specifically when it comes to TV. TV is nothing more than a box of lies. Just like this one quote, no hero but telling the absolute truth. When it comes to the world stage, from Noam Chomsky, the world is a very puzzling place. If you're not willing to be puzzled, you just become a replica of someone else's mind.
And the men who hold high places start to mold a new reality, closer to the heart, closer to the heart. All the words in need are staying.